Hello everyone, welcome to our channel today. Today we're going to continue to talk about heat clearing formula. So in the previous video we have discussed the general introduction of heat clearing formula. There's one more aspect we need to mention here is when we talk about the heat clearing. This kind of heat may be fever or may not be fever. So the patient may not necessarily to have a fever. It may just the feeling. The patient may feel, or from the tongue, you can see very red or dark red the color. That can indicate the heat. Sorry about the noise. It's Saturday today, and it got very big car racing next to our estate. So in this video, we're going to discuss about the new formula, Bai Hu Tang. Before we discuss the Bai Hu Tang, we're going to introduce in this category. It's actually clearing qi level formula. So in Chinese medicine, we got several differentiation method, like 6 meridian differentiation method or 脏腑, and 4 levels. Here we discuss the 4 levels: 胃 levels, 气 level, 营 level, and blood level. So this 4 level, it goes deeper and deeper. In this video, Bai Hu Tang is the one to clear qi level. So as you can see from the levels, it's not superficial. From the superficial wei levels, the heat in wei level, we use yin qiao san. Now when the heat goes deeper in the body, but we need to be careful why it is qi level. It is actually because the heat hasn't go to yin and blood, so it's still superficial. It's kind of superficial. When we use 3-jia differentiation method, the heat haven't go to, still in upper level, haven't go to the middle jaw. When you go to the middle jaw, if the patient will have the heat in the stomach, it may be constipation and the symptoms in abdomen area. So in this category, qi level, when the patient comes with the severe heat symptoms, we need to differentiate where the heat, in which level, and which formula can we use. In qi level, the symptoms of qi level heat, the patient may have fever or hot feeling, and the patient must not avoid to cold because there's a lot of heat in the body. And the heat, when there's heat in the body, the superficial will open. So the patient may have sweating. So the first one is hot feeling, or heat, or fever. The second is sweating. Also it is because of the heat. And when the patient sweat, the consequence of sweating is yin deficiency, because of too much fluids coming out from the body. So the patient will have yin deficiency. When patient have yin deficiency, the symptoms of yin deficiency or the symptom of lack of fluid is the tongue. The patient may have dry mouth. The patient may feel dry mouth or may feel even thirsty. So that's the third symptom of qi level heat. The last one is when there's still heat in the body and have yin deficiency, the patient may be irritated easily. So this is 4 symptoms of. So this is the 4 signs of the pathogen in qi level: fever, sweating, thirsty, and irritate easily. These are the signs of where the heat is. So now we're going to discuss about Bai Hu Tang. Bai Hu Tang is actually come from Sanhanlun. The ingredients of Bai Hu Tang is 石膏、知母、甘草、精米。精米 is a kind of a rice, 甘草 and 精米. And 石膏, as you can see from the dose of 石膏, it writes there half kilo. So it's a very big amount of 石膏. When we use this formula, we need to adjust the dose. We can adjust the dose according to the patient's symptoms. So if the patient has severe heat, you can increase the dose of the 石膏. If the patient has less heat, we can reduce the dose of 石膏. 石膏, the property of 石膏 is pungent and cold. So in this formula, the patient may suffer from severe hot or severe heat. We use very cold herbs for severe heat. So very hot, very cold for very hot. That's the balance. So if the patient is not that heat, we will reduce 石膏. On the other hand, we have talked about the yin deficiency. Because of the patient may be sweating because of the heat. You cause yin deficiency, but 石膏can clear the heat, but it hasn't got the function to tonify, to improve the fluid, to improve yin. So we add 知母can tonify yin when we use 石膏 and 知母 together. One is to clear the heat, the other one is to tonify yin. That's the roots of this kind of symptoms of qi, or the main aspects of qi, heat, qi level heat, because of the heat and cause yin deficiency. Once the heat is cleared, the sweating will stop. And 石膏 and 甘草, 精米 is kind of a rice. 甘草 also can tonify the spleen or stomach, because all the nutrition the body needs come from our stomach or our digestive system. So no matter how severe the patient was, the digestive system, the digestive function is very important. That's why in this formula we use the very cold herbs 石膏 to clear the heat. We use 知母 to tonify yin. At the meantime, we use 甘草 and 精米 to protect or to improve the digestive system. That's the fundamental of the treatment. So as here we can see the symptoms of the Bai Hu Tang is severe heat, sweating and thirsty, and the pulse is strong. But if the patient still have the very similar symptom, have very severe heat, will be thirsty and sweating, but if the pulse is weak, at this time we will use 石膏 Bai Hu Tang add 人参. At this stage we will use Bai Hu Tang add 人参. According to the records, this kind of 人参 is not Korean ginseng. It's something the property is something between Korean ginseng and American ginseng. The difference is the Korean ginseng is hot, American ginseng is cold. So in this formula, a Han dynasty, there's one kind of ginseng. There's the property in between. It can tonify yin, and it's not that hot. But nowadays we don't have this kind of ginseng. What we can use is when we use Bai Hu as ginseng formula, 白虎加人参汤. This ginseng we can use American ginseng to improve the weak energy, to improve the weakness of the body. When we use this formula, we need to be careful because the patient have severe heat in the body. When we use Bai Hu Tang, those kinds of cold herbs, if overdosed, the patient will have severe cold in the body. So we need to be careful the dosage of Bai Hu Tang, how many times that the patient take. Once the heat clears, we will stop the formula, we change it to the other formula. The second is, once the heat clear, if you keep using this formula, the patient may have diarrhea, may have severe abdomen pains. The second is if in a weak patient, like blood deficiency or qi deficiency, this kind of patient, if they have the temporary, if they have the severe hot symptoms, when we use Bai Hu Tang, we need to be careful. If you have to, you need to be careful. In this formula, the dosage of Shi Gao is very important. As we can see from the previous video, we have discussed a lot of formula with Shi Gao, such as 大青龙汤, 月碧汤, 麻杏石甘汤. All those formula they have Shi Gao, but the dose of Shi Gao is different, especially in Bai Hu Tang. So when you use Shi Gao, it's a very good herb and very cold herb for heat symptoms. You need to adjust. You need to be careful of the dosage. Otherwise, especially for the patient who have the weakness in the digestive system, if you overdose, it will cause another problem. The stomach is too cold. Thank you for watching our video today. For more information, you can visit our website. See you next time.